Hey all, and welcome back to 100 Days of Magic. Oh, we are at day 50. I cannot believe that we have made it halfway through this epic adventure. Day after day, you have been building a magical habit. If you've been here the whole time, you should be very, very proud of yourself. I'm very proud of myself for making it to the halfway point. I often ask myself why I thought 100 days was a good. Maybe we could have done 20 days or 30 days, 100. But here I am still talking about magic with all of you. And I'm grateful for all of you who have been following along. I hope you find these videos super helpful. I am Donna, and I'm the organizer of this crazy place called the Crossroads of Magic and Mastery, where you can bring all of your magical gifts to the table to share with others, because quite frankly the world needs all the magic it can get right now. Hey Mary, hey Claudia, it's good to see you here. We are doing day 3 of what happens after the finding spell today. So I was late this morning because I put down my glasses in order to put on my mascara, and then I could not find my glasses, which I thought was really funny. I was like, okay guys, I know we're talking about finding spells, but this is really not necessary. So I ended up going and finding my old glasses, putting them on so I could see where I put my other glasses, the real ones, the ones with the prescription that's actually good. And they were sitting there in front of my face. I just couldn't see them because everything was all blurry. So sometimes, our guides and powers that be like to joke with us about the process that we are going through in our day-to-day lives. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be using your imagination and capturing some of that childlike wonder. Life is hard enough as it is. Bad things happen all the time. We don't have to make it worse by panicking, by suffering, by creating all kinds of narratives that just make us feel terrible. As we all know, oftentimes you feel far worse in the run-up before something that you don't want to do, whether you're afraid of it or you're just, it's not your favorite thing. We hem and we haw and we gnaw on it, and when the thing gets here, it's like, that was no big deal. Why did I make all this drama? Excellent question, because that's what humans do. We make drama because it seems better than boredom. And once you can accept that about the nature of our human condition, it gets a lot easier to stop making all the drama because we don't need to as much. Some people call that growing up. Some people perhaps never grow up. But back to the finding spell. Now, Mary mentioned yesterday in the comment section something that's really important that we should talk about in this after the finding spell. And that is, a finding spell is the basis for not just finding objects that are lost. It is the basis for finding anything that we have need for. It's the entryway to, in Mary's case, she needs a new pair of boots. So finding the perfect pair of boots. I cast a sort of finding spell when I needed that necklace I'd been looking for years. Which I couldn't find anywhere. And even though I didn't own it already, I still wanted one, and I had looked around and I wasn't satisfied with anything that I found. It's also the basis for more expansive spells like finding love, finding the perfect partner, finding wealth, finding prosperity. All of those things that we are looking to attract into our life fit into the category of a finding spell for all practical purposes. So this is why it's important to talk about the planets that are involved in finding spells, because the planet doing the finding often is linked up to Mercury or the Sun. We talked about this yesterday. Mercury, because Mercury is the go-between, and the Sun because it lets you see what is. No surprise then that the two planets that are often the go-to planets for magic in general, if you don't know who else to work with, are Mercury and the sun, which is why oftentimes spells are done on Wednesdays or Sundays to tap into the energies of Mercury or the sun, the two planets that rule magic, perhaps co-rule magic if you'd like. So they're always hanging out in the background. But you can also find a planet that's in charge of what you're looking for. So if you are looking for love, that's usually Venus, because Venus is the love goddess and she likes everything to be pleasant and harmonious, and that's who we talk to when we want to bring others into our life. If we're looking for wealth, traditionally speaking, we would be working with Jupiter. Jupiter is the traditional planet of wealth, meaning if you read any book that's older than like 100 years, Jupiter is the planet. All the spells are written in the language of Jupiter. Modern magic stuff tends to put Venus in there instead of Jupiter as the goddess of money, possibly because she attracts things. I always caution people when they pick up money spells if they start putting Venus in there, because that wasn't her traditional role. And yes, Venus can attract money. Venus loves to spend money. And so the problem with Venus money spells is that, yes, the money comes in, but it can go away just as fast. And Jupiter's more of the planet of building wealth in alignment with being able to fulfill your life purpose. So it's a deeper kind of wealth building and prosperity building that might serve you well in the long run. But I can understand why people would throw Venus in there, because she is a kind of magnet, just with the caveats that Venus has a credit card. She doesn't actually care if the bills get paid, which, for good or for ill, is the way it is. All right, so after you do your finding spell, the question is, do you do it and forget about it? Or do you do it and act as if it's already happened? Or is it somewhere in between? So, because finding spells, like a spell for discernment, how would you know if you had it? It's a feeling maybe, or a spell for knowledge, or a spell for focus. It's kind of a sliding scale of, do you feel like you had more focus than you had before? Do you feel like you have less focus before? How would you know that you got there at the end? A finding spell is different. You either find the thing or you don't find the thing. So there's a definite feedback loop written into the spell itself, because clearly you're looking for something. So the question often with this type of work is, we come back to the finding spell when it doesn't work. And we ask and this is why it's really useful. There's a little spider on my desk, so I'm just taking him and putting him over here where he's not going to get squished on my mouse. There we go. Okay, so the spell for finding is what really benefits from keeping track of what you're doing. Because if you have records of when you cast the spell and what the results were, you know if it's time to do it over again, or maybe change it up a little bit, or ask yourself questions like, is there some reason why I am uncomfortable attracting this thing into my life? And again, you're probably not going to have a lot of emotional baggage around the concept of, Mary finding her new boots. That's more of or me finding my necklace. It's just like, I want this thing and I need it to be the thing I'm looking for, and I'm just having a hard time finding. That's different than a spell for finding love, because the implications of that, your whole life would change. And you have all the history of patterns that you've had with other relationships that you're bringing into it, and all that relationship baggage that can get in the way of you manifesting the goal. Plus, when things involve other people, timing may be right for you, but it may not be right for somebody else. And so the layers get complicated and complicated. Or you may ask for something, and then when exactly the same thing that you asked for arrives in your sphere, you're like, oh, that's not, I didn't realize it was going to be like that. That's not what I had in mind. Oh, I don't want this after all. And then you have all the karma of, summoning another person into your life and the implications of that. Same with prosperity spells. Prosperity spells can get complicated because we come in with all this baggage about what money is, how it works, whether we should have any, how to use it, how to attain it, and all of those other things that were in our lives. And so it's not just that you are lighting a candle to bring more prosperity into your life. It's that you are lighting a candle to bring more prosperity in your life, and you are willing to take on all of your baggage to get to what that means for you. So just like when Jackie was talking about doing her spell for discernment, and we had conversations about, anytime you do magic, it's like accelerating your learning project. And so things can get crazy just so you deal with the subject that you wanted to deal with. It's the same for love spells, the same for financial spells. Things can get crazy because the universe is like, oh, she wants an opportunity to clear this out of her system. Okay, I will give her a learning experience. And we know how much humans like those. So I just want to caution you, magic is a fantastic way to clear out these blockages, especially if we're keeping track of the spell we cast and what happens after we cast the spell. It's like having a conversation with the universe to really help you clear out your stuff really fast. And you have to remember this when the situations come up and be like, oh, this is what you meant by the mess. And it doesn't seem to matter how often I tell this to people. It seems to whack people in the face anyway, including myself. I mean, it's not like I am immune to this, because it's one of those laws of the cosmos. Just like people who think astrologers are immune to astrology. Just because I can read that language does not mean that it does not apply to me anymore. So you have to consider that my Hermetic teacher used to say that when you bring magic into the equation, it's like you are no longer shooting blanks. You are playing with a loaded gun, and a very powerful one at that. So in many cases, using all of the other stuff at your disposal to help you find the outcome that you want may be easier on you than turning up the heat, standing out there, go bring it, and the universe says, okay, I will do that. Because the ride is going to be bumpier. It might be more powerful at the end of the day, but it is often not the easiest path. So it just depends on who you are and what's important for you. I tell people all the time, I love magic. I think it's the way to go, but that doesn't mean that it's for everybody. Some people want a slower way of doing things. Magic is for people who like go, oh, look, there is a challenge. I am going to run at it as fast as I can. See ya, and then bam, oh, wow, that was a thing. Now I have a mess. What shall I do with the mess? And the answer is alchemy, because, you can't do alchemy unless you have a hot mess to start with. So it's something that you learn in this process. Magic speeds things up. It speeds things up in fascinating ways, but if you're connected to your guides, if you're connected to your spirit in the process, it's going to be okay. It may not be easy, it may be messy, it may occasionally be painful, but you are closing in on your soul lessons. Okay? All right. Okay, our 15 minutes are up for the After the Finding spell. Summary is, if you didn't find the thing you were looking for, cast the spell again. But I just warn you, if you keep casting it over and over again, you will be faced with all the blockages that are preventing you from getting the thing that you want. And you're probably going to have to resolve some of them before things clear out, especially for the more complicated finding spells, like ones that have a lot of emotional baggage, like, you know, love and money, the two top ones that everybody asks for, because everybody's like, well, just wave a wand and money will come and I won't have to worry about it anymore. And that's not exactly the way it works. Otherwise, it would be that way to begin with. There you go. I didn't have to breathe through that. Okay. If you have any questions about today, put them underneath the video. I'm happy to get to them later. I realized we're at a nice 50 round number. I'm going to switch over to YouTube for the next video. So, if everything goes well, I will be coming to you recorded. I will post my YouTube video on this channel tomorrow. But since I have not done YouTube videos like this in forever, like forever, I can't promise you that it will be up at 12 o'clock. I will do my best. But we will get back on track for having one up at 12 o'clock every day soon. But I'll do my best to have it up tomorrow. And we're going to switch into, I'm going to go through all the planets because I haven't done it yet. And I think it might help people in understanding which planets to work with for magic, since we've been talking about which planets work with for what. So we're going to start with the planets first. And then we're going to go into more in-depth discussion of the types of magic you can do, like candle magic and cord magic and sigils, because we briefly touched on them, like a little taste, but I couldn't really go into a full description because there's other things involved. So I think we're going to start with that, and then we will go back into applying them for more general spells and stuff. Okay? All right, everyone. It's my pleasure, and I look forward to continuing this conversation with you tomorrow at some point in time during the day. Hopefully it will be noon, but no promises. Take care, everyone.